the underdogs. I'm going to use the white ones. But through you, I shall get the glory. So arise and prophesy. So arise and prophesy. So arise and prophesy. All the earth and take territory and dominion. So now I pour out my spirit upon all this. So I say unto you, sons and daughters, prophesy.
How are you? Sherry Little, sis, how are you?
The Spirit of the Lord that have broken out, that have covered the earth, that have
Can you hear me good?
things and spoke things into existence you shall receive power to will it. You have the uttermost parts of the earth. And I have anointed you, prophets and apostle and teacher and evangelist to be witnesses throughout the uttermost parts of the earth. So I say unto you today to arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. So I declare unto you today to speak, to prophesy, to decree a thing, and it shall be established over the earth. But even my eyes, oh my hallelujah, my eyes, I beheld the things that are in me. But today I declare unto you that my spirit that was here in the beginning is here even now. I am coming out of my time, but with the spirit, said the Lord. So I say unto you to prophesy, to prophesy, to prophesy, and I shall take the words that you declare.
Good afternoon, everyone on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for being on board. Happy New Year's to you all. I pray that you had an amazing uh, night on last night. I know we brought the New Year in. We had a Holy Ghost party. God came in and shook the place. But I just want to bag up and say welcome. I am Prophetess Rhonda Taylor of the Lion of the Tribe of Judah Global Tent Ministries, where there's life, love, joy, peace, and harmony. I want to welcome you aboard. I pray today that I will give you something that God has given me. We already in the new year, not to bring no new year in, but for you to hold fast to what you have and what God have given you when you stepped your foot into this new realm, this new, it was called a shift. It was a shifting. And I don't know if some of you felt it in the spirit realm, but I know I did. It was a mighty shift that was taking place even before today, occurred. I felt the shift already. But I want to give a brief testimony about some things. I had my plans. I want you to hear me clear when I say this. My plans was to, because I'm a pastor, and and I have we have our own ministry, and so my desire, and that you hear me keep saying my desire was to have service on that night to bring the new year in with the tribe and different ones. That was my desire. I want you to hear me. It was my desire. But I the day before, um I kept kind of wrestling with that. On the 29th, I know exactly the day it was. On the 29th, I was couldn't sleep. The night of the 29th, it was the day before my birthday, and I was kind of excited even about my birthday, and doing some things, because I know, my kids had some things planned, and I had some things planned. Me and my god sister. It was just, I had my big day that I was thinking about me again. Like, I'm gonna have an amazing day, and I just, was thankful to everyone that showered me with gifts and showered me with happy birthdays and all that good stuff. Okay, but the night before my birthday, I went to bed, called myself after our prayer call and our conference call. I'm thinking I'm gonna go to bed. I even told my sister, I said, I'm going to bed, but that didn't happen. I was in the bed, but I could not sleep. I tossed and turned that entire night because, number one, I kept questioning God. Was it, even though I know you gave me, to be a steward over the tribe of Judah, but I need to hear from you. Do I need to not have service, or and for me to get fed, for me to be, rejuvenated and come in with what I need coming into the new year, or how, God, what do you want? And so all night, I don't know about you, but when it's me, I have um, if it's something that I feel that's uneasy with God, or something that I know that I may not be dotting the I's and crossing the T's, I get restless. I can't rest. Or if I think that I've erred in any way when it comes to the things of God, I don't know about you, but I can't rest, you know. And so that night I tossed and turned, and I kept thinking like, God, help me go to sleep, you know. So I just started kind of singing, kind of humming myself and thinking I was gonna go to sleep. Then I went back to thinking, God, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to have service? Or, you know, I know what I need, but I want my need to be your need. I want it to be that this is something that you want me to do, God. So, God, what? Because I know it's something that you have for me. I know it's some instructions and directions. And, you know, because when you're a person to where you give out all the time, you coaching, you pastoring, you prophetically speaking in folks' lives, you counseling, you doing everything. You got full plates everywhere you turn. You're with your family, everywhere. Your plate is just overfilled. And so I said, God, what is it that you want Rhonda to do? And I was so uncertain. You know how some people they got it all together. I'm not one of those. Okay. So I was tossing and turning, and then I made up the flyer and everything, you know, had the flyer. As a matter of fact, the guy that did the flyer for me, he did it like twice. You know, I had to keep coming off money, getting that flyer done. And at the very end of the last time that when I got the flyer done, I started thinking like, girl, you know, you ain't never did nothing like that before. Like, what is it that, what's wrong? You know, I'm just saying this to myself. And then I say, God, I don't care what kind of money I was out of. I don't care what's going on. If this is not what you want me to do, I know you gave me to be a steward over this ministry, but if it's something you're trying to get to me, God, make it plain to me. You know, some things I just need God to make it plain. And so I couldn't sleep. Okay. When I finally dozed off, I slept 45 minutes. 45 minutes to be exact. So I got up the next day, which was my birthday, and my kids were saying, you know, Mama, you need to take a nap, you need to do something. And I still was like, I was so hyped, like I was, you know, like man, like as if I had been asleep. I wasn't tired, none of that. Okay, so I kept pondering in my mind, going back and forth in my mind, like God, you know, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want me to do? Because I know what I need. You know, I have given out so much. But if you want me to still move and you still want me to do this revival, I mean this bringing in the new year with the tribe, if you want me to do this, I'll do it. And so still didn't get. I had the answer. It was like, you know how sometimes you have something in the back of your mind and it's God speaking, but you got so much stuff going on, because I had a lot of stuff going on. Okay. And so I kept like, Lord, okay. I couldn't sleep. Was that you? um, some of that was me. Okay. Because I was wrestling with me, with one to make sure that I'm doing the right things for the tribe of Judah. Not even really thinking about myself. Not even thinking about trying to make sure that when they step into the year, that they get exactly what they need from God. That was Rhonda's thoughts. And then I kept going over in my mind that I wanted me and my family to come to go to church together at our church, at our covering, at the Potter's house. I said, um, I kept thinking, I didn't say it out loud. I think I told my daughter, my oldest daughter, the day of my birthday, I said, you know, I'm going to tell you what I've been going back and forth in my mind. I don't know why I said this. Something, Bishop, I know he got a word for me. I know it. It's going to be something that I really need, because I'm going to need something to help carry me over into this year, because I was too drained. And so she said, well, Mama, if you want to go, I'll go too. And so my other daughter and my kids was like, you know, yeah, let's all go. And I was like, oh God, you know, I got my answer, but then I didn't, to me, because I still want to make sure that this is God, because I want to make sure that my life is pleasing, if it makes sense to you. I want to make sure that I'm doing what he's telling me to do. It's important that I follow the Spirit of God and not the spirit of people. that have gotten me in trouble all throughout the years because I've always wanted to make sure that I was always feeding somebody, taking care of somebody. So I later on I said, you know what? I ended up texting and calling everybody, and I told them, that I'm canceling it, and I said, other things that was going on with me too, for us with me canceling it. So one of the sometimes people get super spiritual, and they be like, don't you cancel it because of that? I'm not just canceling it because of that, okay? But that have something to do with it because me personally, when I have people to come, anybody that know Rhonda, I love to be a blessing to everybody, and I ain't talking about no small blessing. And that wouldn't even been a factor because I've always been a person to sacrifice no matter what, and we're a very small ministry, but when it comes to the Spirit of God, we do things really big and in excellence. Okay, so it was a tuggle for me. It was a like it was a tuggle in my spirit. And so I finally said, you know what? I'm going to church so I can be fed. Because that's the only way I'm going to have strength to step foot over into 2023. Because I had given out so much, doing so much and helping other ministries and doing a lot, you know. Um, I was saying, I told a lot of people, I said, in this season, I'm not doing a lot of talking about, what happened, who did this, who did that. I'm not doing that because that's really a waste of time when you spending your time on, and if you brought that into your new year, hey, that's on you. But that's still a form of me. When I spoke on 2, 3 Saturdays ago, I talked about letting the bags go, dropping the bags, and the bags could be this right here, your way of thinking, your way of always putting things together, you thinking that you always right about something. So those was some of my bags. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to, I talked about it, but I'm gonna have to really do it. And I'm not gonna talk about who and what and how I'm gonna do this now. No, 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 those days been over. you know I ain't never been a type of person to get on live and talk about, oh, I got haters. That's irrelevant. That's not even spiritual. That's not God. So really don't care. Jesus had more haters than any of us. But I didn't come on here to talk about that. But I had to give you that testimony of how I wrestled so hard with trying to make the right decision, uh, but not just for me, but for the tribe of Judah. So me and my family, we all went to church because all of my family, my little immediate family, is in the tribe of Judah. So they got what I got. However they got it, however they received it was on them. From the little bitty one to my little bitty grandbaby, she done draw the man, the cameraman to her because she just hyped, and the littlest thing out there, she out there dancing and doing her little thing, and he said, I want to be over here right here. And I said, okay, she finna be in the Potter's House News. She's so little, she's just like my oldest daughter, babies. Everything they do, they dancing, and so he had to get a part of it. I was like, God, look what you did. Look what you did. And I thank you for it. So my topic today for you and for me, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying unto the church. Okay? And then when it gets to the point where you don't understand, have a nevertheless moment. Nevertheless, God, but not my will, but your will be done in my life. And that's the part that I have gotten to in life. I have a nevertheless, let your will be done. Because God have proven himself to me over and over and over and over again. It's nothing. I always tell people I'm not a beggar. God don't have beggars for kids. And I'm not a beggar. I don't, God, would you do this? No, that's not my thing. But I do want to know that I'm making the right decisions when it comes to the things of God. I want to make sure the things that I'm saying and doing is lining up according to what God wants and not what Rhonda wants. Now, just think if I would have went ahead and brought the new year in at our ministry and had service. That would have been my will, not God's will. And I wrestled with that. I didn't care so much about what people thought. Like, oh, you gonna quit? I don't care what people. I'm past that. I've been past that. I was worried about what was God gonna say, how what He was gonna feel, and was that His will for me not to have service. So when He, God is bad. When He can't, it's like immediately, like, oh no, I'm not letting you do this. I don't care about you wasting money. I didn't tell you to go and spend all that money doing that stuff for the. No, I didn't tell you to do that. And I've always said this to the tribe of Judah. God have the right to change His mind and yours if you belong to Him. So what that let me know is, and I always tell the tribe this also, if we have something going on and if God come in and say, this is what we're doing, nobody's preaching today, nobody is preaching. He may say, I just want you to worship and praise me today. I don't want you, I don't want nobody up there preaching. We're going to roll just like that. Because you have to, as being a leader, we have to train and equip the people to be obedient to God and not us. Because if they're obedient to God, if their ways is pleasing the Lord, they're going to do right when it comes to the ministry that they belong to, and they're going to do right by their leader that they say they love, without you having to pull and pull and pull. Though my pulling days been over. I didn't even think about it. Coming in New York, I'm like, I wasn't doing all that. I'm not gonna pull. I'm not saying that no more. Proof has been in the pudding. It's been there. So my words to a lot of, because every last one of you have a leading role in somebody's life, in your life, on your job, or wherever. You want to be that example that God is calling you to be. And I've been saying this and I'm not taking it back. I say we need to get to the point where we preach more of kingdom than hell. We already know hell is real. But we are kingdom people. Kingdom people. So if we are kingdom people, why are we talking about Satan? Why are we? Everybody know there's two places. You don't have to keep reminding them. But if you tell them more about the kingdom and what God brought you from and where He's taking you, if He allowed you to do that, more people will come to God and not to you. Because it's not about you. God He've always let me know, baby, this is not about you. The tribe of Judah is something God chose. God gave me this ministry, man, way before the ministry was even established in 2007. The ministry was established in 2007. But God gave me the name of the ministry in 1992. I wrote it in my Bible. I didn't know what that was about. The Lion of the tribe of Judah, this is going to be. To tell you the truth, I'm going to tell you what I had at first. That's why I say how God is. Because when I wrote it, anybody that have walked real near and dear to me, well, actually the people that have been walking with me during my business plans, when I'm doing my business plans. When I wrote it down, I had the Lion Tribe of Judah Restoration Center. That's what I put in the Bible. Because it's still the same thing. But what I was thinking on, more or less, because I'm an advocate for battered women, that it was going to be more or less like a center, just a shelter or some such. You see what I'm saying? Once again, God have a sense of humor. And He tells us all the time that His ways is not our ways and His thought is not ours. The same thoughts that we have is not His thoughts. So it tickles, I bet it tickles Him when we try to do things in our own strength and out of our own imagination. Stop telling people, oh, I see you and I know you. I know my enemy. And I know. Stop telling people that. I've learned the hard way, even in that. Be silent. Let God do the fighting. Okay? Don't you dare. If you brought that into your new year, I feel very sorry for you. If you're talking the same language that you was talking in 2022, 2021, 2020, I feel sorry. Because what you're going to need for 2023, it's got to be more than just the little ammunition that you had, because you can't use the same oil that you used last year. That oil is old and stale. Some of that oil was wasted, some of it was polluted. You will not be able to use the same oil that you used last year. Try it and see. Try using, excuse me, try using the same oil that you used last year. Strategy is something you should have been praying for before you stepped into the new year. But even if you didn't ask God for strategy and wisdom and knowledge and understanding, it's not too late. It's not too late. But do not. Today is the first. You still got time to cut out all that stinking thinking. You still got time. You have to learn to stop talking so much. If you brought whatever you brought into the year from that old residue, because see, God don't operate in that old residue stuff. That's not him. And so what he showed me was, if I'm going to do a new thing in your life, you can't do it the same way you did it last year. Even though we didn't bring in a new year last year together. And the year before that, because of the pandemic and there was so much going on. But I did, we did have everybody had their, I gave instructions in your house, get your kids, y'all do Lord's Supper and you pray, da 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 da. And what let me know that I was on the right track, because everything that God had given me to speak, to give others, my bishop was talking about it last night. So you always know when you are surrounded and you are a general in the gospel. When you are a general in the gospel, when you link up to other generals, that was trying to die. That's what we're going to get to in just a minute. That thing that was trying to die will begin to live again. You know why? Because you're not around a bunch of dead things, buzzards. Buzzards love eating dead things, holding dead conversations. And I made a comment and I say, I love anybody, pray for me, please do. If not Pray. Okay? Pray for me, but don't pray for nothing about my past. Don't pray for nothing. If you really for me and with me together and in this thing together in the gospel, don't pray for nothing about my past, about anything that I've been through. Everything I went through strategically put me in a predicament and a place for my now. Had I went and had service and had all those speakers to come, how do I know? They may hear from God, but how do I know that they would say what God wanted them to say versus what they want to say? Because we got to be careful even who we allow to give a microphone to. Because some people are still talking in 2021. They still operating with old stale oil. They still operating with hatred in their heart. They still operating with jealous and malice in their heart. So what you did is whatever that went on in 2021, whatever that went on in 2022, today is the first. It's not too late. If God be for you, who can be against you? You think I cared about people just saying, well, how's she gonna cancel? I can do whatever God tell me to do. If God tell me I don't want nobody preaching, if I just want music. I want them to worship me. And if they decide they want to get up and leave because they don't want to just hear our music, they're welcome to leave. God may say, I want everybody laid out on their face. Do y'all know we got good coming and we got some bad coming too? I heard, I think that was Pastor Cox that spoke really well yesterday. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. I got a double portion because first, when he preached yesterday at Thorncross, it was an on-time word. It was seasoned, and it was served at the right time. Because it ignited that thing off inside of me, the Spirit of God that's on the inside of me. So I said, oh, yeah, God, I know now. Now I know for sure that I'm going to be in the house tonight. I'm going to be in the house tonight and get what belongs to me. Because what he did, he verified some stuff. He confirmed some stuff of what God has said to me. Did I tell you all generals in the spirit realm are speaking somewhat, if not the exact same message? I'm talking about generals. I'm talking about eagles. I'm not talking about buzzards. I'm not talking about chickens. I'm talking about generals. I'm talking about eagles. We're getting ready to have a gathering of eagles. Uh-huh. And those that have been tied to you that shouldn't have been, they are beginning to fall off. Stop saying, I'm getting rid of this, I'm getting rid of... No, 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 no. Let the wheat and tear, and God is going to separate it. Because see, God know that he know your heart, and he know you talk real good. But he already know, because he, first of all, did he give you permission to say, I'm done? No. He's going to do it because when he do it, it's going to be done. That's why I tell people, anything that was from last year, I didn't bring nothing in. Not, I don't want nothing from last year. Old way of preaching, old way of teaching, old way of talking, old way of, none of that. And guess what? My life to me have been good. So I'm not saying that I had such a rugged life. I don't want that. No, no, no. The experiences, oh yeah. Thank God for the experiences. Thank God for the testimonies. Thank God for everything I went through, because it equipped me for now. Yes. Have you ever had the enemy so close to you? So close to you to where you can touch him. And you know it's the enemy. You know the enemy uses them. You know it. And you just, they in touch, and they right there in your reach to where you can, you know this. But you just, you know, you already know what God is about to do. So you just say, you know what? I'm not going to talk about this. Why are we going to talk about this? Well, why am I going to keep repeating myself over and over again? Why are we going to keep talking about who got this and who? It doesn't matter. Because God said, he that hath an ear, let him hear what. And I'm going to give you a scripture. I'm going to say, why did he say that? Okay? I'm going to give you why did he say that. Okay? Stop trying to teach like everybody else. Stop trying to preach like everybody else. Stop trying to mimic what other people do. Stop trying to do all that. That's not even your character. You brought that in this year. Be your authentic self. And let God use what he put in you. If anybody if y'all remember, I believe it was it Matthew 25, what Bishop talked about? If you know it, type it and let everybody go back and read it. Type it in the section. If you're on here, Sherry Little, Kavandra Jones, type it in there and let them go back and read it. Okay? But let me give you some scripture so you won't think I'm just talking off the dome. Okay? But I had to share that because we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of our what? Our testimony. So you may be thinking about doing something because you've been doing that. I've been doing it, man. We have conference every year around this time, and we do this everywhere. Well, what if God don't want you to do that? So I'm just telling you about Rhonda, because he shifted my whole plan. I'm talking about the whole plan. He started from the birthday. Because what I had planned, I told everybody, I'm celebrating all month long. You know what I did? I stayed when the kids got out of school. My grandkids got out of school because I drive them every day. Okay? For 2 weeks, I didn't even leave out of this house. I think I went out one time and got me some fruit and came right back in. That's what I did. But I, man, before when December hit, the first thing I said was, man, I'm celebrating all month. I'm gonna celebrate that I just finished my brand new book, book number 6, and I'm supposed to celebrate myself because ain't nobody, we do that. Here we go. There we go again with that me, my life. Ain't nobody celebrating me. I'm gonna celebrate myself and da 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 da. I'm gonna tell you something else. God is killing that pride, baby. That pride, killing that pride, that hatred. Uh-huh. You still mad about something that happened years ago. You're a grudge holder. You brought that into this year? Uh-huh. You brought that into this year, didn't you? You brought that into still holding grudges in. That's a bag. Uh-huh. Yeah. But let me give you scripture. Revelations 4, and starting at verse 20. It says, look, I stand at the door and knock. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come in. Knocking on that heart. You're knocking on that heart. I want all the way in. I don't want to, somebody knock on your door. They come into your house. They knocking. And you crack the door. And you talking to them through that little crack. God said, I don't want to talk to you through that little crack. I want to come in. I want to come all the way in. And I want to, I'm going to go further off into the reading. But I want to be able to sit and have dinner with you. I know you're a sinner. I know. But I'm going to do you like I did Zacchaeus. I'm going to call you up off of your high horse. I'm going to call you down out of the tree. Because Zacchaeus, he was smart. He ran ahead of the crowd and climbed up the sycamore tree. And Jesus looked up. He didn't pay attention to nobody else. He didn't call nobody else. He looked up and told him, come down. Zacchaeus invited him into his home. He went and he ate with him. And he was ridiculed for eating with a sinner. But let's move forward. I will come in and we'll share a meal together as friends. That's what he did with Zacchaeus, right? Okay, keep it moving. Those who are victorious will sit with me on my throne, just as I was victorious and sat with my Father on the throne. Anyone, here it come, here it come, here it come. You ready for this one? Anyone with ears to hear must listen to the Spirit and understand what he is saying to the churches. Okay, now when we read the book of Revelation, some may be afraid to read it. Okay, a lot of people are. Okay, but how will you know what the Lord is saying about this very hour that we live in and which we know is in Revelations? Okay, Revelation is a book of prophecy that is both prediction and foretelling future events. Okay, preaching about who God is and what he will do. Prophecy is more than telling the future. Okay, behind the predictions are important principles about God's character and promises. As we read, we will get to know God better so that we can trust him completely. Jesus told John to write to the 7 churches. He told John to write to the 7 churches. He said, he that hath an ear, let him hear. Not with your natural ears, with your spirit. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. What is God saying to you? What did God say to you even before you step foot into this new year? What did God say? God said a lot to me. I'm not sharing it. God said a lot to me. It's a lot of rearranging some things that God is doing in my life. And I'm okay with that. Some things are hurtful, but you have to be okay with God's decisions, because everything is not, just like I told you, I had to plan how my birthday was going. I was going to celebrate all December, and what I was going to do, I was going to go. First of all, I said I'm going to go to the restaurant. I was going to have me a little celebration, just have a few of my family members, and I was going to celebrate about me writing book number 6. And I was going to celebrate, and when I get through with that, we're going to have service. I'm just, that's the normal. That's something, that was the normal. That's what Rhonda was used to doing. She was used to doing that. Like you got some people repetitious. They doing things. God said, I want to break that. I want to be able to come in and change some things. I want to be able to come in and change your way of thinking. I want to be able to come in and change the way you think about yourself. I want to come in and rearrange and teach you how to really run your ministry the way I want you to run your ministry. I want to come in and tell you to love those back to God. Even the least, the one that you think that you love, that should be loved the least. Them the ones I want you to love the most. I'm going to tell you something. Every now and then, every now and then, God just brought this to me. Every now and then, you have to, you really do, you have to let the enemy know you know of him and you know him without actually saying it all out. You know why? He just brought to me when Jesus did it at the table and he said, one of you going to betray me. And everybody started looking at each other. No, it ain't going to be me. He had to let one of them know, baby, before the cockroach 3 times, you're going to deny me thrice, 3 times. Then he let the other one know that he that's dipping his hand in with me, that's real close to me. Didn't I say that earlier? His enemy was real close to him. He was right up under him, right under his arm, dipping his hand in there. He said, he let him know, whatever you're going to do. He didn't tell him, I know you my enemy. I know you don't really like me. I know you don't really care for me. I know you sold me out. I know you did things to try to hurt me. I know that. It didn't go. You think I didn't know it? I knew it. He could have said that, but he didn't. He just said, whatever you're going to do it quickly. And sometimes you got to let your enemy know. You ain't got to come out and say, oh yeah, I know you my enemy. I know you don't like me. Just calm down. Whatever you going to do, baby. Whatever's in your heart, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. That's why he was so tormented till death. Because he came up against somebody that had love for him. Somebody that spoke truth to him. Sometimes, just sometimes, we thinking that it's wrong to confront the enemy. But you got to do it the way God wanted. Not in pride, not in arrogance, not being, oh yeah, I see you and I'm done with you and da-da-da-da-da. And da-da-da. That's not God. Jesus didn't do it that way. And he was the Son of God. He didn't do it that way. He didn't do it. You're not taking my life. Okay? That's what he let them know. You're not taking anything from me. And sometimes you got to let the enemy know you're not taking anything from me. Because I can call on legions of angels to come and handle you up. That's all I got to do. I can call on. See, back in the days, I used to hang with some rough crowds. I'm talking about some rough riders. And I say, oh yeah, just hold that thought. But now, I don't even say that. I say, you know what? In the spirit realm, God got you. And be very careful. God got you. It's a dangerous thing to come up against me. So Jesus, he could have really called him out and said a whole lot of things like, oh yeah, you my hater and you da-da-da-da-da. He didn't do that because he knew it wasn't why would he do that? He didn't have to do that. So if you brought that right there into your year, you brought in a bag that you should be releasing. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. We are to hear what the Spirit says to the churches. God speaks to churches through the Holy Spirit. So this requires a different kind of ear. A different kind of ear. I keep telling you that all that you use, have you ever noticed sometimes a certain, I'm going to use this for an illustration. Have you ever purchased something that was white, beige, or some light color, and you leave it hanging in your closet for so long, and it start kind of changing little colors, you know? But then you want to maybe take it to the cleaners and let them bring it back to life, and they can't do it unless they dye it, okay? So that's an old thing that you're trying to bring back to life that you just need to throw it away. And some people are using some of the same oil that they used last year and this year, and it's not going to work. If you're getting up, I said this to the tribe many a times. If you was getting up at 5 a.m. praying, you may need to change. You may need to change all of that because of the things that God is doing. This is not going to be a very long video, but I just want to share with you all that it pays to hear God. It pays to listen to God and not people. Had I to listen to people calling and saying, "Oh, that was not God. What you did, that wasn't God at all." Oh, whoa. Okay. Okay. I mean, it was one thing that was said that was really correct. That, the person when they said it's like, right now you don't have no peace. You're right. I didn't have no peace. You know why I didn't have peace? Because I wasn't sure. Anytime you're not sure about a thing, you're not going to have peace. So I wasn't sure about the decision to make, so I didn't have peace. So when the person said that, I broke and I was crying because not only was I crying because of that, I was crying because I was just really too exhausted. I didn't have any sleep. And then I was, couldn't make a decision. So when I couldn't make a decision, it brought aggravation. It made me not have peace. So the person was absolutely correct when they said you didn't have peace. But when you say what's not God don't want you to worry. That's a known fact. But I was more or less going back and forth with what should I do? Should I do this or shouldn't I? Because God, going into this year, I don't want to step foot into 2023 and say, God, if you want me to, no. I wanted to come in being obedient. Not wait till I get there, but walking into obedience, walking into the things of God, walking into his promises. See, some of you, thank you, Holy Ghost. Some of you are still worrying about your ministry, who came, who left, who betrayed you, who lied on you, who manipulated their way in your life. Can I tell you that's all a distraction? The enemy want to keep you stressed out over something that you really don't have any control over. That you do, you can do something about. But the enemy is robbing you of your peace and your sleep, and he's robbing you. And you stepped into your new year with that same thing. That's why he said, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. God said, I am gathering up my generals. He's putting his generals together. God is gathering up generals. He's bringing all of the eagles together. And you're going to be able to tell if people have stepped into your atmosphere and they are buzzards or chickens. Because when you began to surface, I said this before I stepped into the year, they began to fall off. They began to do little crazy things. They began to say little things, and they get uncomfortable around you, and they just start speaking and saying anything because they're trying to really grab for something. Like, I gotta find. Have you ever seen my grandkids? Let me tell you about my grandkids. I'm gonna use this. If I go to either one of my grandchildren home to their house, my grandkid is gonna look for something. If it ain't nothing but an old scar or something, they're gonna find it and say, Granny, look, Granny, look, Granny, look. I just went to one of my children's home to pick up a gift. Okay. And when I got there, my grandbaby, my little lifeline, she ran in there and started looking for her boots. She had some boots. She wanted her granny to see them boots that she had. And that's how a lot of times in this season, you got people that are not supposed to be with you this right now. You brought them into this year with you. You brought some things, some sneaking thinking. You brought your old habits, and some of you parted your way all the way in. You said you weren't gonna do that no more. You was gonna serve God, and you was gonna give God your heart. You was giving God everything, but you drug that in and you boasted about it. You put that thing before God, just disrespecting God. And so now it's getting very close to God bringing judgment. And so you know how they try to find stuff. Let me put this together before He come. Let me just you got people that are doing that. They just start just saying and doing anything because they know they're out of order. But it's not too late for you to get back in your rightful place. It's not too late. Speak more kingdom. Speak more of where God is taking you versus where you've been. We all have a past. We've all been through something. We've all done something that we're not pleased about. But because where God is taking you, He said, I don't even want you to even talk about that. Now, if you like me, because I'm an advocate, I have to, every now and then I tell people where I come from, whatever. I ain't talking about that type of testimony. I'm talking about having the same old conversations, hanging around the same old people that having the same language, doing the same thing, and they brought that into their new year, and they're gonna bring it into yours. They stress a lot, so they bring stress to you, and you brought that into you. You allowed them to bring it into your life. You allowed them to come and dump all that crap on you and leave. I did that back then. But I came in, when I stepped my foot up in 2023, I stepped up in here light. And I pray that same thing for you, that when you stepped over, when you crossed over, that you crossed over into the new, that you didn't bring nothing old in with you. Right here. Some of you, I was talking about having restless nights. That restless night, because I didn't know how to, the decision. I wanted to make sure that I was pleasing God, and that, I was dotting the I's and crossing the T's until I'm like, God, I couldn't even rest. If you're anything like me, I love me some God. I love God so much. I'm telling you, if I have an inkling in my mind that I've erred, man, I can't rest. Some people can rest doing wrong. Some people can rest. Some people can look you in your face and do you wrong. But that's not your portion nor your problem. Don't you be the one to have that type of spirit. Because the enemy wants to keep you in bondage. He wants to keep you stagnant. He wants you to keep worrying about things you have no control over. He wants you to keep caring. He wants you to keep making New Year. I was telling them, don't tag me nothing about no New Year's resolution, because if the first time I see resolution, I'm erasing it. Don't worry about no New Year's resolution, because people make them and break them. Broken promises, broken covenant, even with God. I'm going to do right with God. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this and do that. And they break the covenant. That covenant, they'll say it about a week, they go right back to doing what they were doing. They break covenant very easy. But they don't realize that's a ruling spirit. And y'all know what his name is. It's Leviathan. With that old twisted serpent. He come to divide, to conquer, to twist things in your life. I pray that you did not bring that old stuff, your old way of thinking, into this year. Because this year, some people are not going to survive. If you came in with that same mentality that you want to go to church just to dress up. I'm going to church because I want to dress up. I want them to see my new outfit. Or I just want to go and see who's going to be there. Or I want to do this and that, spectating. If you brought that into this year, you're in trouble. I'm going to say this, and I want somebody to type this. And you mark what God is saying through me today. God said he is gathering up his generals. He is gathering up his eagles. He's not putting together. Now, if you see a bunch of buzzards hanging together, a bunch of chickens hanging together, that's not your clique or your crowd to be around. If you're around people that's all they do is gossip, manipulate, lie, backbite, those are chickens. Those are buzzards. They walk around eating dead things, talking the same dead language. If you are hanging with somebody like that or somebody's like that, I'm going to tell you, this is not the year for that. I'm telling you. See, years ago, I brought warning after warning after warning after warning. And the worst time, sometimes the worst ones that you know, the worst people that you know, that you can reach out to is the people that are closest to you. And they know you. They know that you hear from God. They know that when you say certain things that God give you, it comes to pass. It don't hit the ground. Those are the main ones that fight against you the hardest. Them the main ones. But can I tell you, because you are a general, because you are an eagle in the spirit realm, that's not going to even affect you or infect you. But it is going to infect them and it's going to mess them up. Because God is not going to allow them to attach themselves to you. In this season, you're going to see a lot of people falling off from your life. Even those that you think they're supposed to be there. You're getting ready to experience some things. Some is going to bring some hurt. Because some things God have to allow. Didn't I tell you that I had a restless night? Because I couldn't make a decision. Me, not God, me. So I had an unpeaceful night. So for some of you that are still doing the same things, hanging with the same people, your peace is being robbed. That was not the will of God for your life, and it's still not the will of God for your life, that you're not operating, you don't have any peace. God did not desire for me to go to bed and not be able to sleep like that. The only time God deal with me like that, if it's something he's trying to get me to see and hear. But see, God didn't have nothing to do with that night, because see, Rhonda was wrestling with Rhonda. Rhonda was wrestling with, I want to do this, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure it was God. If I guarantee you, if I would have straight up and said, me and my family, we're going to the Potter's house. We're going to, to our umbrella. That's our umbrella. I'm their umbrella, and that's our umbrella. He covers us. He covers the tribe of Judah. He covers my life. So the best thing for me to do, whatever God was giving me, they need to get the same thing, because we all heard it. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. Now it's up to them to take whatever God gave them and multiply with it. That's what Bishop talked about. So whatever I got, I didn't get it. I didn't have to go back and say, okay, y'all, let me tell y'all what Bishop said. Let me tell y'all what Bishop said. They was there to hear it. My son had to work. He couldn't be there. My grandson, he had to work too. And, be at work very, very early. So those are the only two that was missing. But I guarantee you they was right in front of that TV watching. Yeah. So whatever I heard, when the Spirit spoke to the church, he spoke to the whole church. Because I had my family with me there. And they was able to get the same thing I got. That way they can't say what I didn't get it. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear what Bishop said. So if they go contrary to what God spoke through him, who you think I am to come to them and give them something? They'll do the same thing. So they heard it. They got a responsibility. I already know what my responsibility is. I already know. I stepped up in here, up in here, up in here. Light. Can I tell you that? A good tired. You know, I said I was not gonna. I was gonna come on. I already told Minister Little. I told her. I said, you know what? I'm gonna be on tomorrow because God allowed me to come on and give a word. What is He saying to the churches? You know, I'm gonna come on at 4 p.m. and do what God tell me to do, and I'm gonna get off. So the word for you today is, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. God is saying, I need my generals, I need my eagles to get in line. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Let me say this. I was sitting in a car waiting on, I believe it was one of my grandkids or whatever, you know. I was sitting in the car. Yeah. Thank you. God is so bad. He just like, bring it back. I'm sitting there waiting on my daughter. I was doing some stuff for my grandbaby. Okay. So I was waiting on my daughter. And while sitting there, I saw the Spirit of God ushering his people, getting them in line. And I'm looking. And I said, oh my God. He's getting his people together. So when my daughter got back to the car, I was like, let me tell you what I saw in the Spirit. God is gathering up his people. He's gathering his people. Satan is gathering his people. It's going to be a mighty, y'all better get ready. It's about to go down, baby. It's about to go down. But I saw him. He brought it back to me while I was on this live. I saw in the Spirit that he was gathering his children. He's gathering. God is gathering his children. He's calling on his generals and his eagles. He's telling you all to come on, get in line. Come on, come on. There's no big eyes and little U's in the kingdom. You might be the arm. I might be the hand. Somebody might be the foot. Somebody might be the leg. Somebody might be the ear, the head, whatever. Fivefold. If your ministry ain't operating in the fivefold, something is wrong. Fivefold. He said, I gave some apostles, some prophets, some pastors, some teachers, some evangelists, for the edifying of the what? He tried to, for the saints. It have nothing to do with us. This thing have nothing to do with us. If it's all about you and that'll do, and yours, your clicks, something is wrong. We're missing God. We're missing the message of God. I've been trying for years. For years, I'm talking about for years. Since 2007. I have one of the tribes on here now. Well, actually, I got two of the tribes on here, but one of them haven't been with me very long. I think she 3 to 4 years, maybe. The other one's been with me since 2007. Some just came on board probably a few years. But for those that been around me for a very long time, they know I've been saying this for a long time. I've been trying to get them to get in a rightful place and training, equipping, even with my grandkids. I've been training my grandkids since, man, they could be sitting up in their baby chair and I'm putting words, telling them to say Jesus and blah, 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 training them and teaching them to say the word of God. And I've been doing that for a long time. Every last one of my grandkids, man, it got to the point at one time my daughter, my oldest daughter, said, Mama, they get in the car drilling us. Like, what does this say in the Bible? And what do you find such and such at? They was drilling them. You know why? Because I was training them, and I've always spoke and told my children and my grandchildren who they were. Because God told me who they were. It didn't mean that they was going to operate in it right then. He spoke to Jeremiah. He said, I knew you. I set you apart as a prophet to the nations. I knew you before you was formed in your mother's womb. Jeremiah said, but I'm a child. He said, say not that you're a child. Because whatever I'm going to put in your mouth is going to uproot. This is for somebody. Hear me good. He said, what I'm about to do in your life. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You're going to be able to uproot, dismantle, and destroy. I heard one leader on here say, y'all need to stop talking about breaking. We're going to break it. No, you got to destroy it. I agree. Too much breaking. You break it, you'll go back and fix it. Destroy it. Then last night, my bishop was talking about he don't like stuff broken in his house. That's me. I don't want nothing broken in my house. If something break, throw that joker away. You know, I don't know how many times I've been to the trash can dumping stuff out of this house. Like, oh, no. Oh, I don't want that in here. It ain't serving no purposes. We ain't got no hoarders up in here. I didn't say the other one. I said hoarders, okay? We don't have that up in here, so let's get rid of this stuff. We're not using it. What are you holding it for? That's how some people hold it with the evil here. They're still holding on to stuff that you should have read that long time ago. But God said, I want to use you. I want to use you. And those that will not allow God to use them, that God have hand. Don't you know God already know that you done made a mistake? God already know what you've done. He know what you've done last night. He know that you partied all last night. You brought your new year in the club. He know that. He knew you was going to do that. Even though you said, I'm going to church. Baby, I'm going to church. Like, but you drove, like Mother say, by the church. Okay? Don't you know he knew you was going to do that? You didn't surprise God. We think we surprising God when we do stuff. You're not surprising him. Like, oh, I surprised God. I didn't even go to church and bring the New Year's in. I didn't even pray the New Year's in. Not alone this, because I am the church. He that hath an ear, let him hear. I'm getting ready to wrap this thing up, y'all. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. And even when you get in a place where you feel like you can't move forward, feel like every time you turn around, something is getting your way, do as Jesus did. Nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done in my life. Because it's going to come a time you're gonna have some nevertheless moments. Just because God have chosen you and handpicked you to do his will, you're gonna have those nevertheless moments. You're gonna be betrayed, you're gonna be lied on, you're gonna be all that. You're gonna go through all that. He went through it. He went through it. And you're gonna grow through it. You done grew through some things that you thought you weren't gonna make it out of. You here. You made it out. You made it through all the abuse, through all the lying, through all the manipulation, through all the setbacks, through all the delays, through all the sickness, with your kids acting up, whatever, your family, going against you, doing the crazy stuff. Everybody fighting against each other. Family can't get along. This person mad, that person mad. People talking about each other all the time. You went through all of that. Okay. God said, I don't care. I want you. I don't care what you have done. I want you. I know, he just said, I buy ugly houses. You know how, it was a sign have you ever seen a sign that be on the side of the road and it said, we purchase ugly houses? That's God. God said, I buy ugly houses. Because you know what? That thing that you telling him, God, the windows is there's no windows in there. We got boards on there. We got boards on the windows because there's no windows. The porch, God said, I don't care. I want it. The back hinges. The paint is chipping off. The roof, I don't care. I want that house. God specializes in ugly houses. He specializes in things that people have given up on. He specializes in those things. Because you belong to God. Everybody is not God's child. People need to don't say that. No, everybody is not. You got some people that literally work for Satan. You got some people that are doing the things that Satan wants them to do. Because if you still lying, you're doing what Satan wants you to do. If you still manipulating, if you still backbiting and being gossipy, you have the attributes of Satan. You don't have the attributes of God. Okay? But God said, I want to buy that ugly house. Because that ugly house that's on that block that everybody passing by and they don't see potential in that house, I want that house. I'm gonna fix it up. I'm gonna, I might have to turn it all the way down to build it back up. But I want that house. Back then, I used to hear my daddy, because my daddy used to build houses. That was one of his many of traits that he had, his gifts that he had. He used to build houses, big brick houses. My daddy used to say, I'm gonna have to gut that house out. I'm gonna have to go and bulldozer that one down and start over. And so some of you, God he's gonna bulldoze some stuff through just to get you. And when the people that doubted you, that said you was never gonna be anything, and that you was never gonna mount anything, and they turned their back on you, God said, yeah, they're gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, man, what did they do to that house? That's the same house. God just he said he specializes in, he said, I buy ugly houses. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. God said, I know you messed up. I know you made a mistake. I know you did something that you are ashamed of. He said, but I still want you. I want to use you because you're one of my generals. Yes, you. You that are on YouTube, you that are on Facebook. God said, I still want you. I know you want to give up. You didn't even want to be here. You didn't even want to walk into 2023 because you still was holding on to a lot of unforgiveness and pain, and you know you just got hurt, just got your heart broke. God said, I want you. I want you because I'm just stop giving people all your mind and your heart. That belongs to me. Give them what's left over. That way when they walk away and when they do little crazy stuff, it won't affect you. It won't put you in a fetal position. He said, I need you to just, he that hath an ear, I just need you to hear. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. And he said, and then you're going to have some nevertheless moments. And when you get to that point where you have a nevertheless moment, don't forget about who I am. Don't forget that I'm a redeemer. I have paid a price, a huge price. My son paid a huge price for your life. He paid it all. Why are you still trying to pay? He said he paid it all. Why are you still worrying about that? Why are you still stressing over that? Why are you still having panic attacks over that? Why are you still trying to take all this medicine to keep yourself asleep because you don't want to face the day? Why are you trying? What are you trying to drown when you drink it? I always tell people it's not a sin to, who said it was a sin to drink? It's a sin to be drunk. It's a sin to be drunk. Because what goes in a man's mouth comes right out. But it's what comes out of your mouth that God is concerned about. God said, I know. I know you threw up and you laid in your own vomit. I knew that. Yeah, it sounds nasty, but you were so drunk you laid in your own vomit. You went from man to man to woman. You just couldn't, you because you were searching for something that they didn't have. Only I have that. That you looking for in him, it's in me. God said he don't have it. That's why you miserable. She don't have it. That's why you miserable. She don't have what you need. I have what you need. Yeah, she cute. Yeah, she fine. She got it going on. She got all this money. She got all that, but she's not it. She's even in church, but she's not it. She's in church. But I want you to, in my closing, God is saying, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. What is God saying to you? What is he saying to you? What is it that you're refusing to give up? What is it? Is it stress? What is it? Satan desired to have you, to sift you as wheat. But God have come that you may have life and that more abundantly. If you on here and you've been struggling emotionally, even physically, because you do know when you suffer emotionally and with your thoughts, it starts to mess with your body. I know all too well. I want you to type, I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. I'm delivered. I'm whole. Again, I'm free. I'm delivered. And I'm whole. I am a child of the King. I am one of God's generals. I pray that's something that was said, because this is what God is saying to you. And take territory. I want you all to know that I love you all with the love of God. I thank God for teaching and training and equipping me. I thank God that he didn't have to choose me, but he did. I thank God for that. So in my closing, I want you to know that God loves you. I want you to know that God is no respecter of person. You are a general. You are an eagle. And it's time for you to go in a place where God is taking you without any distractions. Love people, but it's time for you to surface high on where God is taking you. Know that I love you with the love of God. Again, this is Prophetess Taylor from the Lion of the Tribe of Judah Global Tent Ministries, where there is life, love, joy, peace, and harmony. I love you with the love of God. I pray the blessings of the Lord over your life. May God make rich and add no sorrow to your life. And anything that's been plaguing your mind, your heart, I call on peace, joy, love, in the name of Jesus. I speak peace to your mind. I speak peace in your heart, in the name of Jesus. I pray that those headaches that you've been having, overeating because of stress, that today it ends. Today it ends. Every time you get upset, the first thing you get is an appetite. Today that ends. Every time you start stressing out, you start having migraines, and you go into a shell, you go into a dark room and shut everything and everybody out, that ceased today. You will not deal with that any longer. You are free. You are whole. You are delivered. May God bless you until next time. Happy New Year, and make it great. God bless you. Till next time. God bless you, you too. Have an amazing day.